topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good afternoon, Florida. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where for the last 17 years, we have been bringing you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Hey, we have a new audience today. We are now live on TikTok, and I am so excited. I've been wanting to get on TikTok for several years now. And we have got the greatest show for you today. Listen, we know we've got so many homeowners, condo owners, and a lot of you really don't know exactly what your homeowner's policy says. And if you're here in Florida, we have so many hurricanes, we have rain, we get water damage, we get roof leaks, fires, smoke damage. Well, folks, I got to tell you, we have an expert today that is going to be able to help you get so much more money with your claim. Now, it's not for everybody. It's not 100%, but I got to tell you, even I had a claim against my homeowner, and they had offered me $30,000. When I got a public insurance adjuster, which we've got one of the finest today, I ended up getting $140,000. Let me welcome, the name of the company is, it's Exclusive PIA. They're a Florida company. They are public insurance adjusters. We're going to educate you what a public insurance adjuster is. Let me welcome Joy Alicorn.
Hi, how are you? I'm glad to be back.
Hi, Joy.
For today. How are you doing, Stephen?
We're doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Hey, I love that banner you made up. That was so cool with your company name. When I saw that, it's like, wow, it was that good.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're trying to make sure that people recognize and at least see where they could reach out to us when they tune in.
Tell people, Joy, there's so many people who don't even know what a public insurance adjuster is.
Yeah, I agree with you. So a public insurance adjuster is an adjuster that works just for the homeowners or property owners. When you file a claim with insurance, there's going to naturally be an adjuster on the inside that adjusts, takes a look at your claim, evaluates the loss, investigates, cuts the checks. They're basically the ones that work for the insurance company. So who's working for you? If you have no public adjuster, you're basically going up against your insurance company. Not that you can't go through a process by doing so. Of course, you can go ahead, see what they have to say. I'm not saying that it's impossible that they'll ever pay out well, but what we have found is that when a homeowner enters a claim on their own, not knowing the process, chronologically, the types of documents that they ask for, the fact that they're actually submitting themselves into a real investigation, even if it's even if it's the most obvious type of damage, you're being submitted into an investigation with the insurance company, and they will be the ones that will make the determination of, okay, is this a valid claim? Is this something that has any fraud in it? Is this, you know what I mean? They look at it in a number of angles that a lot of people don't realize. So in that alone, imagine you go into the process not knowing that you got to do, in some cases, a recorded statement or the type of documentation that you have to provide. It sometimes goes beyond just giving them a contractor's estimate or invoice. You know, there's a lot of parts that are very, very important and hidden in the policy that people are not aware of until they're up against a real battle or, you know, dealing with the insurance company's determinations. Anybody that experienced, for example, Hurricane Milton, Hurricane Ian, Hurricane Helene, if they went up against the insurance company, I guarantee you they know what I'm talking about. Even in the best, even in good scenarios, it was very, very, very tough. When it comes to the insurance policies have changed dramatically. So it's really important to get educated on the new endorsements and the things that have come out that could really affect what you're getting from the insurance.
Hey, Joy, how about all those people in the Southern California area that had those fires, and they found out later their insurance company had pulled out? They didn't even know about it. But there are always changes being made. What kind of changes are you seeing in Florida for homeowners?
Well, it appears to be something that's happening, I would say, probably nationwide. That especially, come to think of it, you know, it makes sense to a degree because we're dealing with a time in our lifetime that basically these storms are more wicked than we've ever seen before. They're more unpredictable. I'll give you another example when it comes to flooding, for example. You know, typically, if you're not in a flood zone, you don't need flood insurance. But anybody that, you know, that is a public adjuster and even an insurance world can probably tell you that floods happen with the right storm, the right amount of rain. You know, it's not necessarily just because you're in a flood zone. And that's the scary part. These catastrophic storms are getting bigger, scarier. You know, if you look right now, what's going on in the Midwest, what's going on in Texas, what's going on, you know, we're talking about for the past 2 months, I feel like we've been seeing constant, almost daily news of massive hail falling, you know, and all of these things affect, obviously, the amount of claims that get filed, which are necessary. Yes. You need to do it if you have damage, because it's a lot of money that we're talking about. And that's specifically what you pay insurance for them to help you if you suffer a catastrophic damage that's covered in your policy. But where it gets very tricky, and the part that is, you know, it's rough even for us as public adjusters to decipher and to get through. But there are endorsements like roof endorsements where they will tell you specifically, okay, well, we'll only pay for shingles that are damaged specifically by a hurricane, or whatever the fine print is inside of the policy. In some cases, if you have an older roof, it could be affected. If you have a newer roof, it could be affected. The amount of money that they actually will be able to pay you out. And these are all things that are hidden within the insurance policy. So how would you possibly know? Even if you sat and you read it cover to cover, there, you know, you're definitely going to have questions, number one, and you're going to experience, or you might even see like, wow, maybe I don't even have an adequate insurance policy. So it's something that the right thing to do is to prepare ahead of time. Reach out. You can always reach out to me. That's why I'm very happy to be on this show, because I'm here to raise awareness. But I'm more than happy to review policies that, you know, they can be as simple as email to me, and I can give you my my opinion on if you have adequate coverage for wind, for water damage, etc. These are important things that you need to know ahead of a storm, ahead of damage.
Hey, Joy, I got to tell you, we're talking about this bad weather. So I just read, and actually I've read several articles that they think that Southeast Florida is getting ready to get hit really hard. One of the things they said is that Southeast Florida is so due, but what's causing this weather pattern is this El Nino, which we keep hearing about all the time. But from what they're saying, we're going to get hit bad.
What I heard it described as or called was El Super Nino. So I don't know. It sounds like this year all bets are off. I don't say that because we're excited to see people's houses get devastated and destroyed. I tell you, I have seen numerous types of devastating losses. I've seen people lose their entire homes to fires, to hurricanes, to tornadoes, to a number of things. I am glad that I have this career and this job because it is absolutely rewarding to me to be there for these families that are suffering through these situations. A regular insurance policy of any kind is something hard to navigate through. But when you have something devastating where you're out of your home, somebody's got to help you so that you can have coverage when you cannot be in your home and you temporarily have to move out, or if you've completely lost your home. You want to make sure that you're covered to the maximum potential of your policy and how much money you can receive. There's no time that it's more important than that. And I've been able to make some drastic changes on policies. I know that not just myself, but most public adjusters, once we get a file, there's a lot of things that we're able to determine right away if something is off. One thing that a lot of people don't realize, if you have an insurance claim and you receive a check in the mail or you receive a check from the insurance, there's an estimate that goes along with that check. That's one of the most important documents that you could possibly receive, because no matter how much that check was for, there is a breakdown in writing, line by line, of what they've actually paid you. And that's going to matter in the future. And it's going to matter if you have a mortgage company. So as you can see, we're talking about all sorts of different categories of information that a person has to be able to take on, to go through. Now imagine it during the most stressful, heart-aching time of your life, where you've lost a complete place to live. You and your family are displaced. This is why it is really important to know who to contact if you have these types of losses. Again, prepare yourself ahead of time, that you in a number of ways, whether it's knowing the policy, documenting your property as it is prior to hurricane season, all the personal property that you have, ensuring also that if you have flood insurance, for example, that you have also property insurance, personal property insurance. That is a super catastrophic heartache that I've witnessed up close, when people have a complete flood, completely take out everything in their home. And then when I sat there or I've talked to the client to tell them about their policy, come to find out that they have zero personal property. Delivering that news is awful. And when they realize that basically they're not going to recover on one single thing, not one item that they own that's inside the property, it's really, really painful. And so it's something that could be avoided. Of course, sadly, insurance has become super expensive, and I understand that. But I think that's even more reason to educate yourself with a person that can guide you, read a policy and tell you, look, find out if you can get this type of coverage. Or how about you talk to your agent or a number of scenarios that would be more helpful, so that person knows either what to expect this storm season prior to a catastrophic event potentially happening, and that way they have a chance to make a change on the policy, hopefully, if they can.
Joy, I don't know if you've thought about this yet, but there's literally thousands of people moving to Florida from the East Coast, from New York. They're moving down here because, let's face it, we've got a much better economy here, but they've never experienced the kind of weather conditions that we have. And I want people, and we got people already writing in wanting questions, but it's important that we educate, especially these people who've just moved down here from the New York area.
Yeah, I've actually been one of those people myself, because I was born and raised in New Jersey.
Right.
Yeah, and my very first hurricane was the first year that I moved here, which was Hurricane Irma. That was massive in 2017. And honestly, that was the game changer that opened the door for me here in Florida. And seeing that type of industry and seeing what you could do to help these people. I'm a person that I'm very passionate about life in general and everything that I do. When I talk to you about something, you can tell that I mean it, because I carry like conviction with what I say. And when it comes to dealing with people losing their property, people needing to recover from something so horrific, like a home completely leveling because of a storm, that's something that it feels good at the end of the day to be able to help somebody. But it is very scary to see these types of alerts, these types of warnings. You don't know what to do. Of course, sometimes you have the weather channel or the news sometimes promotes some of these events that maybe never happen. And everybody goes crazy preparing, but honestly, that's so much better than not being told anything. Of course, the idea is awareness. The idea is for you to seek shelter and to make sure you're okay. And it could be scary times, but what I definitely have to say is, if you're a homeowner, you've got to get insurance. And yes, it's going to be probably very expensive, but it's going to be one of the most valuable things you can do for your home. Same thing, obviously, for your personal property, for your vehicles. And very important, renters insurance is super important. It's more important than people can imagine, because if your property burns to the ground, or if a hurricane hits it, or something devastating happens to it, and you don't have renters insurance, then you have nothing that you can claim out of that policy. The building will get put back together. The landlord or whoever owns the property is going to get compensated for that, but they can't get you the money for your personal belongings. You can't file a claim for anything if you don't have insurance. But if you have insurance, even if it's just renters for your personal property, now you're protecting the items that you have in your home. God forbid, something catastrophic happens. So definitely recommend that you look into having renters insurance if you are not a homeowner. It is equally as important.
Hey, Joy, just to note, these articles I've been reading, usually here in Florida, the real hurricane season starts about September or October. It's actually June is the official time when hurricanes start, but they're saying that the season's going to start early this year.
It sure looks like it, based on the unpredictable and honestly scary, sad weather that we're seeing pretty much on, like I said, on a daily basis. Out in the Midwest, for example, luckily we haven't gotten anything here yet, but This is something that is definitely eye-opening if you're looking at it from any other state, and it should be eye-opening to all of us. Look at just the winter alone that some of the states up north received, like New Jersey. We're talking about amounts of snow that have never been seen before. We're talking about, even in that regard, okay, like the entire weather pattern is something that nobody knows. I think that what has to happen now moving forward for all of us is really planning ahead of time, really thinking about what if this scenario happens. Like I think about it all the time, to be honest with you. I wonder, what would I do if God forbid, like they always say, the grid goes down, or what do we do if a crazy massive storm happens and you get displaced from other people. Unfortunately, these are realities now that we have to face, and the more that we actually pay attention, the better it is for us to make sure that we have the proper coverage, that we can get through it, that we can recover if a loss like that happens, and that everybody's safe.
Joy, you can't see what I see. I've got your show on my main laptop screen. I've got our TikTok show on my cell phone. You would not believe all the questions. I can't believe there's probably 300-400 people watching right now.
No way.
TikTok. And they're all, a lot of them are saying what a great show, good guest, questions. Joy is with us every month. She's with us for 25 minutes. The show goes by so fast. Joy, tell people how they can reach you. Folks, write this down, because I'm telling you, you do not know when you're going to need a public adjuster. Tell people how they can reach you.
Well, you could definitely reach us by phone, of course, 800-593-9853. If you are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you could also reach out to us by DM in our social media through our exclusive PIA TikTok. You could also, as I said, obviously, we also have an email address that you could connect with us, which is admin@exclusivepiaclaims.com. And, we'll be more than glad to take on questions. We'll be more than glad to facilitate whatever we can. We're not going to charge you to ask us questions, and of course, anybody that that's suffering from any type of loss with their insurance company, anybody that's been denied, anybody that's been underpaid, please ask away. Bring those situations to us. We'll give you a free evaluation to look into what's going on. And believe me, we've been able to successfully overturn full-blown claim denials and get people paid that have been told you can't get any money because you're under deductible, to hundreds, to 100,000 or more even. So everything is possible. Just get it reviewed. Don't just assume the claim is denied, case is closed, and there's nothing else. Those are the people that don't recover and don't go any further, but you'll be very surprised. So take a chance and bring it our way if you have any questions. And also we have a website, which is www.exclusivepiaclaims.com. You could share that as well. And, you can see a lot of information that we have available there too.
Again, Joy's with us every month. Joy, thank you so much. Hey, what's amazing when people are writing and saying, how come the show is already over with already? Our shows are 25 minutes long. Hey, but she'll be back again with us next month. Joy, thank you so much. Again, great background.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to the next show too. Can't wait.
Thank you. And we're going to go at a quick break. We will be right back.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.